you guys made Oh Dear. You guys are Cozy Cabin Games Studios. Cozy Cabin Studios, excuse me. It was funny. I just watched the podcast where you also like talked about making the name too.
Yeah.
You guys made Oh Dear, an absolute smash hit indie game where you play as either a hunter or the deer, with friends in multiplayer. And there's other deer walking around and you have to kind of disguise yourself and also run away from the hunter as a bipedal deer that poops when he sprints.
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolute hilarity and gold for multiplayer fun. That's what Oh Dear is. I think it's just wild how young you guys are. You sold this game. It's a great idea for a game. I think you guys are pretty close to even being out of high school at the time of Oh Dear, at least, releasing. People definitely should check out the podcast of like going through this. It's dense. It's 3 hours long. It gets into all the weeds of your guys' journey. It's on their channel. But for our sake, just for this conversation and episode, what is kind of the origin of you guys getting into game development? Starting with, I would say, push. Like, where did that start? And then how did that end up into shove? Excuse me.
So funny. I made that.
Oh my
I made
God.
that exact same mistake.
I'm like Cozy Cabin Games and your game push. I suck. I am still getting used to podcasting. I apologize. Oh my gosh.
Okay. I think it all just kind of comes down to the fact that like me and Mason have like grown up with each other our whole lives, and we've both been different people. Playing games was like the one thing we always did after school or after work or whatever. We always played games together.
Yeah.
And I think it just kind of grew into a passion of like every night we'd hop on and play games with our friends and stuff like that. I think we just both kind of knew like games were like just something that we could bring people together and like we can play with our friends, we can do stuff. And I slowly started going into programming at that point too. So I just started making some small little projects and stuff in Unity.
Mhm.
And that was right about the time Mason was like getting into his editing stuff for his content.
Yeah, which is very interesting too. So Mason, you're like kind of a big deal on TikTok at this time before the games, like hundreds of thousands of followers for mainly Beat Saber.
Yeah.
Beat Saber content. And I feel like such an old guy being like, it's Beat Saber is like, that's the niche that you need to hit. Because like when I hear of hundreds of thousands of followers for Beat Saber, I'm like, that's a thing or whatever. Like, I'm not big on TikTok, but that's like wild. And I have seen some of your stuff because you showed it in the podcast, you clipped it in. And it is pretty impressive, all of the edits that you're doing.
Yeah. So at the beginning of like high school is when I is when TikTok like started getting traction and stuff.
Mhm.
And that's when I, downloaded it and gave it a shot. And I was also into like VR around that time.
Mhm.
So I just mixed both of those. I've also had the passion to be like a YouTuber ever since I was like young.
Yeah.
And I've had like experience making like videos like that. So it was just all of these like mini hobbies of mine went together, and then I made this TikTok account, and literally like the third video blew up. So I'm like, I might as well just keep doing this.
Yeah.
And I just kept challenging myself throughout high school, and it led to me like falling in love with video editing.
Mhm.
And I was known as like the editor, the editing nerd.
Is that crazy, by the way, in high school? Like, you didn't say
Yeah.
Musically, by the way. You said TikTok kind of, like, specifically just ruled the high school one year. And, like, it's like everybody was on it. Everybody was creating. I'm going to sound old here, but, like, I thought, like, a ton of TikTok in the beginning was cringe or whatever. A lot of e-boys and stuff like that I was like, hey, I'm out of here. But have fun. Yeah. But, it's funny, too. TikTok technically was also the reason my channel's starting to get traction, because I would take my long form videos and put clips out on them. And my Red Dead Redemption video, which is like the one that kind of kicked off my whole channel, I posted a clip of it, 1 minute clip about it, went to sleep with like no followers, which I think this is kind of the special thing about TikTok. You can have like no followers, fell asleep, woke up, and it had like 260,000 plays. And my Red Dead Redemption video, that all my videos were sitting at like 300 views from like friends and family, basically. That one had like 10,000 views now. And then all of a sudden, 10,000 became 20,000, 100,000, then a million. And it was just like, whoa. Then the pressure was on to like make another video that's not garbage. But I kept doing the TikTok thing for a little bit, just clipping long form stuff. But I have a feeling I didn't really like that I was doing that. Some would pop off, like a few would hit like a million. Like it's very weird how that works. And we'll definitely talk more about this whole thing about like short form content because it really seemed to benefit you guys with Oh Dear.
Oh,
But
sure.
yeah, going back to Beat Saber, how long did that last before you kind of were like, all right, I'm going to put that on pause and go do game development?
Yeah, so like I said, I started at the beginning of high school, and throughout high school, I was just basically challenging myself to like make a better video, try to get, more of an audience and find, I guess, my editing style.
Mm.
I think I started this like trend thing. I don't know if you guys were on TikTok around then. Maybe you were, I don't know.
I
But
could talk
it was like
with
this
the kids.
Nick's like,
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
It was this like trend with these two guys, and they would do like a percent series, and basically they like use this same audio, and it starts at 10% and it's like 10% hype,
Mhm.
and then they just post like a 20%, a 30%, and eventually 100%. They have like millions of views, all this hype, like, ooh, like how epic is this video gonna be at like 100%? And I was very
I mean,
inspired by that.
what is the video? Just saying like, we're at 10%, guys.
I'm so
No.
confused.
Yeah, it was like them basically doing a bunch of transitions and like edits
Yeah.
to this song,
Okay.
basically.
Were they dancing?
And yeah, they were doing like dances.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it other than like that, I
They
guess.
were pretty
So-
much doing like crazy scenes, like fight scenes and stuff, like editing and transitions and all of that. And
Yeah.
like every video would be more epic than the last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But each
So it was-
video is like a percent, like
Yeah,
10%.
it's like they put 10% effort into the
effort,
video
yeah.
kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's,
So
it's kind of like the concept of it.
Dude, imagine if I started doing that on my YouTube channel. Just like, hey guys, 10% effort video on this one.
So
Yeah.
that was kind of like the inspiration. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, right? Like the comments, they loved it. Like
Yeah.
everyone was in the chat or in the comments loved it. So I'm like, I could probably like spin that to like my Beat Saber content.
Yeah.
And I did that, and that was like one of the main things on my channel that really like made my channel blow up. But that was basically what kept me going and like making me get better at editing, because even if I was at like 50% or 60%, I'm still putting in like all my effort because I know like I can still make it better.
Yeah. It's 60%, but secretly it's 100%.
Exactly.
160%.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I definitely learned a lot doing all of that, but then it got to the point where high school's ending.
Mhm.
And like real life is basically starting to kick in, and I have all these editing skills, and I like computers, I like video games.
Are you an artist as well? Because like you seem to be like leaning in the 3D modeling territory.
Honestly, I just always loved like videos and editing. Like that was my main like artist thing.
Yeah.
And then I also have like passion for just a ton of artist topics.
Yeah.
Like I love color grading, filming, like all of that, storytelling.
Not to jump ahead, but are both of you guys also computer science majors or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when
Okay.
high school ended, we were at the point where like we kind of just have to make a decision like what to do now. Because like while Mason was doing all the editing and stuff like that, I was working and like I was in like the workforce a little bit and like not
Yeah.
really happy with what I was doing. It just felt like a lot of like repeats every single day. Like I would do something and then it would just reset the next day.
Mhm.
Yep.
So we were like, we got to do something that like is fun for us. So like, why don't we go into computer science into like a community college?
Mhm.
Because it's it's free when you go to community college and easier and close to home. We both just were there and like this is fun, but like this isn't really like what we want to do. This is like working while doing something fun.
Yeah.
The creative side is kind of pushed away and like the working side of coding.
This is kind of a personal note. You guys are in California, right?
Yeah.
Like the community college that I went to, it felt like if you were doing that, you didn't make it into university. Was it kind of like, no, like it's totally cool to go to community college. Like a bunch of people do it.
I think for the most part, it was just we didn't really want the debt part of like the first 2 years, and
Yeah.
like we both kind of were like the people like we could go to any school and kind of learn the same general thing.
Mhm.
Like there's differences in all of them. We were like we just want to learn what we need to learn and then like use it. So
Yeah.
we decided to just take like the easier route kind of thing. So
Which, by the way, I shouldn't be diminished or whatever. The fact that you guys have been best friends since like 5 years old. When did you guys meet? How old were you?
Kindergarten.
Yeah,
kindergarten
it's
to,
like
like,
that's
probably,
That's
like,
so cool.
6 or something.
Yeah.
6 or 7.
It's just cool to see you guys do it now and like see where Cozy Cabin Studios goes.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
bad,
you're
my bad. Horrible host. Yeah, that's awesome. And the fact that things align. I mean, I've had friends that like I still have close friends that I've known since I was like 8, but they're not in like the same vein. Like we can't
Yeah.
connect.
I mean, that was something I struggled with growing
Yeah.
up because like I knew no one who got as deeply interested in the stuff I was into. So every time I had to like, oh, I want to make a game, I want to do animations, like I'm by myself.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that's exactly
I got
how
no one to bounce this off of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly how I felt. And then even like, it's also embarrassing to ask for help, especially like, for instance, YouTube. It's like, hey, you want to make a dumb video that potentially hundreds of thousands of people are going to see and like you're a part of it. It's
Yeah.
like, this better be good.
Andrew, you're saying that you went to school and you're like, oh, we're doing a fun thing, but it's boring. Is it boring because of the structure that school typically does when they teach code? Of guess what? You're gonna learn data structures first.
Also,
Yeah.
was it that, or was it were you guys doing coding classes right away, or was it like kind of like the general stuff?
Yeah, it was a mix of general ed and computer science because we were originally just gonna go to get our associates and then like go to another school after like the 2 years.
Yeah.
We learned a lot of very useful stuff. Like I use a lot of the stuff that I learned even now, but like the way it was set up wasn't designed for like, oh yeah, this is going to be like something cool to learn for when you try out this on your project. It was like, you need to do this or you're going to be fired kind of thing. And it was like, oh, okay, I see. Like this
Yeah.
is very strict. Like you have to like, you rather learn this and have it completely memorized and like get a good job or like you don't do it at all kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you understand linked lists so you can do it on a whiteboard quiz when you go get a job at Google.
Yeah, exactly. It was sometimes hard because like we had so many computer classes all in the same semester. We'd be taking a C++ class and like a data structure class and like 2 other ones and be like, which coding language was I using for this class? Like you're like on the test and you're like, I forgot. Using pseudocode and stuff is crazy. But
Yeah.
Was it a overall good launch pad into game design for people that want to make their own games and stuff like that? Do you think you need a computer science background? And then how did it help you guys specifically?
I would say that it's nice to have the fundamentals of how code works and like understanding that. But a majority of what I used and when I started with was YouTube videos off of just random devs and content creators that would post stuff. I
Mhm.
felt like that was way more useful to me than what I learned in my classes. I feel like the creative side of making games doesn't come from school. That comes from like seeing games, playing games, and like just running ideas around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I know for Mason too, like he's very much more so on the creative side, and like I don't think that necessarily like came to him from school or
Yeah, I would say no, especially this day and age. Like you could basically find everything on YouTube, especially with like the rise of like AI. Like you could just ask a bot and that could like help.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I don't have a computer science degree or anything.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
predate YouTube like in my
Yeah.
learning of code and everything. So it's
yeah.
entirely possible. It would have been a lot easier if I
Yeah.
had started
Yeah.
now, and I'd probably be farther.
Nick had to read through stone slabs.
Yeah.
It was written on
I will-
parchment.
I
I
will
know they're
say,
talking
though,
about TikTok in high school, and I'm like, I had MySpace.
You're like, I had letters.
Yeah, I will say that like doing those 2 years in community college helped me understand, I guess, just the structure of code, like, and just some of the basics of it. Like I can now, like when I see Andrew code or look at his code and he explains it to me, I have like a better understanding of how it works just because I've had those years. But then again, I feel like I can also get that same knowledge from just searching it up myself or from like YouTube.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say community college is necessary, but I'm sure there are some things that maybe like you can gain from it. As for the creative side, like Andrew was saying, it comes down to like your own creative limitations and how you think, I guess. I don't know. Skills wise, everything that I've learned on the creative side, from modeling, from like video editing, it's self-taught or like YouTube tutorials.
Yeah.
So
I always consider like YouTube basically like self-teaching. It's like you go and search it on your own and
Yeah.
learn it.
Yeah.
And
There's a classic adage, senior dev adage of like, if you don't know something, that's fine. But if you can't Google something, you're fired.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's so
You're
true.
fired. That reminds me of like one of my first jobs. I was just like, go Google it before you ask me kind of thing. I feel like I got that a lot.
Big difference of like old school, like I think Gen X senior devs and stuff. Because that was the case for me.
Mhm.
A lot of the older devs I worked with early in my career, they did not have time for you. That was not, you are not their job. They have to report to management. They have to make sure everything's running okay. They need you to stay out of the way.
Yeah.
And I remember being the boss at my consultancy and being like, I'm not going to be that guy. But then my whole job became making sure my guys had every question answered and had what they needed, and I educated them, which was great. But it also meant I had no free time.
Yeah.
Getting back to the path that you guys were on, basically. So you go to community college, 2 years, like fully in community college?
Yeah, we did both years, and we both actually got our associates in computer science. So
Okay. And then am I crazy or did you guys keep going or what happened next?
no, so we actually started Shove our was it first year, Mason, of community college?
Yep, first year.
Yeah, we were in our classes, and I think it was one of our general ed math classes. It might have been like Calc 2 or something like that. And we were just like, this path is going to lead us straight to a corporate job at this point, like
Mhm.
in time. Like, we're heading straight towards a corporate job, or like, we're going to be probably in an office writing just lines and lines of code and not really have like an opinion on like what we're making besides like just doing it. I remember just feeling super demotivated by that because like I came from like, a retail background working at like Target and Costco. I felt like I was just kind of there working and not really like an opinion in any way, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people might feel like that in their jobs.
I love Andrew, by the way, like just you being younger. I've loved like when you were talking on the podcast about like your career at Costco. It sounded like you were like climbing the ranks or whatever. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I know.
like I used to work as a chocolatier at a
Yeah.
place. And I was like, if I talked about that, of like I was rising through the ranks of, you know,
Yeah.
tempering my chocolate and I was working on dark chocolate at the time or whatever, and then I quit.
This gets crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. No, it wasn't bad at all. Like I don't look back at it like in a bad way or anything. I think looking forward from that, like it just made me realize like I want to have something that I can actually enjoy and
Yeah.
change and like have an opinion on and all of
For
that.
sure.
Me and Mason like took all of the same classes pretty much cuz like we just, hang out and stuff in our classes and work on homework together or whatever.
Mhm.
And one of those classes, I just like kind of looked over at him and like, we should do something like different. The school is going to take us somewhere, probably, but like it's not really like the direction that either of us wanted. We got back to my mom's house at the time and we were just chilling in my office and we're just throwing back ideas, like trying to figure out like what we could do to like kind of get out of this like routine that we were in.
When you guys told on the podcast, it seemed like Andrew just like took off his glasses, like we know where this leads. Like we
Yeah.
have to do something else.
It was so weird. It just felt like a moment that I was like, I know that this is something that I would enjoy if I kept going. Me and Mason both have always just been like super creative people and like just wanting to
Yeah.
do something.
It seemed like it wasn't necessarily towards game design. It was funny, like, you talked about playing around with some game stuff. And I think a lot of our listeners have like dabbled in game design, then you kind of come back to it, which I've been like saying lately, everybody quits. Everybody quits game design for like a second or whatever. Like I would start editing and learning it and then I would quit. And then I would start learning it again and then I would quit. And then eventually it's like by the fourth time I re-picked it up, the last 3 times are kind of burned into my brain that I can actually like get to a state that my motivation meets my learnage so far that it kind of sticks now. And I feel like that's what's been happening
Yeah.
with like Blender and Godot and game design. You talked about it in the podcast. It seemed like you guys weren't 10 and like, we're going to be game designers someday. It's more of like you guys ended up choosing that. Again, like being computer science majors, did you guys have an idea of what you wanted before the game design thing?
We've built games before. I think we tried making this one project together just like over the summer,
Yeah.
like just as a fun little thing, like what you were saying, and we just kind of like quit and it never went anywhere. But yeah, when we went to community college, like another reason we chose community college was we didn't like have a solid vision of what we wanted to do. So we were like, let's just save the money and go to community college. And we came to the conclusion of like, we should start something on our own, like together. That was when we started like running through a ton of different ideas. I think drop shipping was one of them.
Yeah,
Some like
classic.
solar company. We were going to
Yeah.
make this like solar company or something. And then, we've had experience with video games and making a game, like even though it really didn't go anywhere.
Mhm.
So we were like, let's do that. And we just went full force on it. We thought of a game idea, and to make it even more set in stone, we started our business. I think, Andrew, right, you quit your job. Like we went
Yeah,
full.
I was a
Like,
little
it was
bold to
locked
say
in.
the least.
Yeah.
That's when I was at Costco. I saved up like a pretty good fund for like a few weeks and I was like, I'm just gonna cold turkey it and just go full into this. And like me and Mason went to the county to like set up our business and we had no clue what we were doing. We're like, we don't even know if we fill these out proper or anything. And like
Yeah.
just gave it to them. They're like, oh, all looks good. You guys are now a business. And we're like, uh-oh, like what does that mean now?
Yeah.
Time to actually make something.
That's actually what we've been experiencing over the last like couple of years, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like just crazy, like not knowing anything but trying to just go into it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we started throwing around like basic ideas and stuff. We realized very quickly that Mason's editing background could be a very good tool for us to like hopefully market our games.
Mhm.
I've always been a little bit more on like the like mathy side of some stuff. So like I always have liked coding, and I used to code a little bit when I was younger and like try some things, but it never really went anywhere.
Yeah.
So we were like, what if we try to split the workload to like go through things faster? Because like at this point, we were just kind of pressured by time and financially a little bit too. And Mason was like, I'll take all the video stuff and like some of the modeling and all of that. And I just was working on coding, and we just kind of started from there.
Is this game idea Shove?
Yeah, this is Shove.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to ask whether or not you were going into Shove or going into Oh Dear, because you mentioned that you had another game before, but that's the
Yeah.
scrap game idea.
Yeah, that first
Yeah.
game was when
Okay.
we were in high school, and
Yeah.
we just had like an idea, like try to make a game.
Was that the one that you guys made at like camp or something like that?
Yeah.
That sounds so cool. I'm like, what the heck? I want to have camp or whatever of like, let's go make a
There's some
game camp or
cross-country
whatever. Like, that
camp.
sounds dope. By the way, I've regurgitated your guys' story to like 20 people. Like, I've talked about your guys' story like so many times.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just because I think it's so cool, especially when you are in the transition of adulthood phase, like going out on your own for the first time. Like, I mean, I just loved. Oh yeah, we'll get to this, but I'll say while it's out of my mind. I love the celebration of Oh Dear. Is guys like we went out to dinner and then and it sounds like a nice like professional thing. And then you find out it's like a pizza party.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You just made millions of dollars.
And that's how they keep it.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was so awesome. Going back though to Push, Andrew, like I know that part of like Push when you guys were developing Shove. How many times did I
It's
just
so
call
funny.
it Push?
It's so funny
Did I
'cause-
call it Push multiple times? Dude.
Yeah, one of the quotes we have is when push comes to shove, and like we always used to like combine them all the
Oh
time.
my gosh, okay, good. That's why I'm
It's not
calling
just
it
you,
that,
don't worry.
totally.
Yeah.
What was the idea for Shove? I swear I almost said Push right there again. Because it seemed like you guys had a really thought out idea from a simple concept.
Well, we were at Mason's house, and I think that's like kind of how we just started brainstorming the idea. We both know absolutely nothing when it comes to game design. We kind of just flipped a coin between Unity and Unreal Engine to see like which one we would use. I used Unity in the past and was like, it's good, but like Unreal Engine looks really good. So I was
Yeah.
like, we'll try that one out. We were like, we just need a super simple game to start off with, like a super simple game. We just came like with a bunch of ideas and stuff. I think Mason or someone was like, we should just make a game where you just are against your friends in an arena and you're trying to push them out of the arena.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's like a good name for that? And we're like, oh, shove. It's like the entire point of the game. You got to shove your
Shove.
friends. Yeah, I think Mason wrote it down on his whiteboard and we just kind of brainstormed a bunch of ideas and stuff. And just pretty much no plan on the game, just started coding and like just started working. And like we didn't know what we were doing at all. It was like one YouTube video at a time, just trying to learn everything.
Yeah, I believe Shove, the idea from it was also like heavily inspired by Stick Fight the game.
Oh yeah.
If you guys played that,
Oh, yeah.
I think it's made by Lamphol. But yeah, it was heavily inspired by that. And I don't know how to do really 2D stuff, so we just naturally attracted towards like 3D, which is, I don't know, I feel like unique or just kind of an odd choice these days, especially for indie teams.
Indie games, yeah.
Well, I think it's probably because there's a bigger barrier to entry. Whereas, like, if you're already artistic, like if you're already drawing and whatever, I know I'm going to do 2D and animate that
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
But like with 3D, as you know, it's like, well, you got to model the thing, you got to UV unwrap the
Yeah.
thing, you got
Yeah.
to texture the thing, you got to rig the thing, you got to animate the thing.
Yeah, I literally have it in that video. It's like barrier to entry for 2D. It's like make your thing and then you kind of jump into the code or whatever. Like you make your little sprite sheet and you're good. 3D, it's like now you got to do all these things before you can even get your guy in the game without him
Yeah.
just being a T pose that never moves or anything. And it's like it's so much more work.
It was definitely a barrier to like start in Blender too, because you just think, oh, I'm gonna go in this engine and make a game.
Yeah.
But it's not
Nope.
not that simple.
I wish it
You're, like,
was, by
opening
the
up
way. That would be
with
so
only-
cool if it was. As a game designer, you find out that game dev is like, oh, you actually need 16 programs that all go into
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Like that funnel
pretty
into
much.
one thing or whatever. And it's like, oh,
You got your iPhone here watching a Blender YouTube,
Yeah.
an iPad watching like
Yeah,
coding stuff. You're
exactly.
like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I think even at that beginning point, like me and Mason both modeling at that point, because
Yeah.
like I didn't really know
Yeah.
the code all too well. So like I had a little Blender history with
Mhm.
like trying some old games. We just both were modeling a ton of stuff, and like we just had some things, and I was like, okay, now how do we code all of this stuff to work now? Like no
Yeah.
clue, pretty much.
I think at the beginning of Shove, Andrew was like the main modeler. And it was just like, he's coding and modeling, like that's not going to really work out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, got to learn Blender.
Yeah.
So by like the end of the project, it was more like equal in that.
So how long did you think Shovel was going to take to make?
Honestly, I thought it was gonna take us like 3 or 4 months. I didn't have a number like in mind because like we were at the point where like the game was just being developed as we were going. As long as it's done relatively soon, like we should be good. But I also was paying like a bunch of bills and stuff every month. So like I kind of was like, I guess that's like the timer. Spoiler alert, like 6, 7, 8 months later, we were still working on it.
Yeah. For those 6 to 8, 9 months, was it like every day working on the game, or was it?
Yeah, I would say like 90% of the days we were just working like 10-hour days because like
Dang.
when we were in school, like we were also in school and we would do the classes, we'd get home and just like start working. It's rather we get it done or we don't kind of thing. And if we don't, we're gonna have to like do something else.
Was it a lot of learning the whole time?
Oh yeah, all of it.
That's why it took so long.
I feel like if I was in your guys' shoes, it would be a very similar thing where I feel like I'm just like redoing a bunch of stuff over and over.
I mean, that's programming, is constantly redoing things.
The worst part was we were wanting the game to be multiplayer, so like we could just play with like our friends and stuff. Because
Yeah.
like me and Mason were at different houses and we wanted to play together. We just went into it like, oh yeah, we'll just add multiplayer to the game,
Yeah.
and we're like, it'll be easy. So we just code it single player first, and like
Yeah.
plan on adding multiplayer later.
Yeah.
Definitely don't code your games like that because you have to go back and change everything.
Yeah.
And we switched from this multiplayer like online to like a couch co-op game because I realized like physics engines work a lot better on the same machine, and that's why we didn't make multiplayer to begin with, because
Yeah.
half of our game you're ragdolling around the map. So like the second there's desync,
Mhm.
you're playing two
Oh,
completely
dude.
different games.
So
and like
Yeah.
as a complete beginner, I have no skills necessary to deal with desync at
Yeah.
like that point in time.
Which, by the way, is
So-
like to newbies, like when you play a multiplayer game online, like your games are they talking to the server?
They pretty much tell, like, when you're playing on your keyboard and mouse, your keyboard and mouse is telling some server to do stuff, and then the server does it and then tells you what happened.
It's going to the server and coming back to your screens and replicating the game.
Not even just that. It's that your game is running its own simulation, just like the server. And when the data comes in from the server, your game has to then account for that data and rework itself into some hybrid state.
Nick showed me like a lot of this, and it was just like, how? Like it makes no, like they're doing a million transistor actions or whatever a half second. It's like I still like now even like getting kind of deep into game design. I'm like, this is still like a miracle at the end of the day that any of this works. Like it's doing an ungodly amount of processes.
It's
or
like,
whatever.
what did the people before us have to go through to get it to this
Yeah.
point?
Yeah,
like,
for
it's
real.
crazy.
For real.
I mean, there's a reason Unreal Engine's still built on the tech they built in 2004
Yeah.
or whatever for Unreal
They
Tournament
walked-
2004.
Yeah. They walked so we could run pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I got a question. So you guys build Shove, you
Yeah.
learn all the processes involved, you're still in school. That 8, 9, whatever months. How many months in total was
9.
it?
It took right about 8 or 9.
Okay.
But you did stop going to school for it, right?
No, we were still in
we're
school
The whole
still
time.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get to that point, it's time to launch. You launch it, what happens?
I'll let Mason tell his side of it. So.
The silence
I'll
told me
wait on this
everything.
one. Yeah.
It flops. It goes absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, some of our close friends got it. Just like every other launch, there's a few bugs, right?
Yeah.
So we fixed
A
some
few
of
bugs
those.
for the 6 people that played it that launch day. So
Yeah, but it basically died right where it started. So
Is that embarrassing? Is that like hard to tell your friends? Like, because you guys specifically talked about like, you know, your friends being like, how's the game going? And you have to be like, yeah, it's all right.
I pretty much became very avoidant on like that topic because like for me I put 8 months and like of just nonstop work into it, and I knew it was learning, so like I wasn't like frustrated with it, but I just was like a little bit sad to see like a project that I spent so much time on not go anywhere. It was kind of an awakening, like this is a lot harder than you might realize because like we spent so much time on the game that we kind of forgot about like selling the game.
Mhm.
And so we made videos and devlogs and stuff like that, but like they didn't gain a ton of traction.
Yeah.
It was a lot for like having no followers to begin with, but
Mhm.
like it just didn't really go anywhere too crazy to like market it well.
Are you guys okay with saying like how many sales you made on Shove?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I don't remember the number, but I think it like the first day we probably got like 10 sales. It
Boom.
was like
Yeah, it
that's like
was.
the launch of your game hit a full-time peak of 10 sales, and probably 4 of them were our family and friends, so
Yeah.
I had a very similar experience with my first release game, and I did it in 2 months as like I had kind of the same realization as you. I was working on a much bigger game, and I was like, I know nothing about what releasing a game looks like, let alone
yeah,
marketing it. So I
yeah.
pivoted, took 2 months, built a whole game in that time, and I was like, this is my canary in the coal mine. I'm going to throw this out there. And I was like, I'll probably have a few hundred downloads or people that play it. That thing released, I think I have 38 people who've ever downloaded the file. I don't even know
Yeah.
if they've played it.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, like, even just, like, going on the Steam page, because we only sold the game on Steam for PC, and, like, going on there and, like, trying to figure out how to even launch the game is, like,
Yeah.
It's a
hard in
whole learning
itself,
process
like,
too.
especially not knowing.
Yeah.
And, like, we didn't know if the builds we uploaded would work on other people's computers, or literally, like, no knowledge, just being like, "Here's our game, hopefully it starts,"
Yeah.
like, we didn't really know,
Did
so
Steam kind of has a filtering thing where it'll say like, "Hey, you need to fix these bugs before you can launch." Did you have to go through
Yeah,
that?
I think we actually published the game, and, like, the first time we published it, they approved it because I think, like, we just play tested enough. Like, the first build came out, like, 6 months into development.
Okay.
So, like, we already had so much of the game done before we even, like, gave them anything to see, so the sucky thing was, like, just kinda, like, learning, like, the whole multiplayer thing didn't work out and having to pivot
Mhm.
was a little bit rough, so
So you guys pivot and you pivot back into an online multiplayer game
Oh, yeah, with our second game with
Yes.
Oh Dear.
with
Yeah.
Oh Dear.
Yeah, so we launched Shove, and the first day, like, I could already tell, like, the game is not gonna do good. I've seen enough launches to, like, know, like, the numbers you want, and, like, they say, like, 7,000 or 9,000 wish lists or something, and we were
Yeah.
at, like, maybe
200,
200 or
maybe,
100
maybe.
or
Wishlets?
something.
Wishlets?
Yeah,
Wish
wish
list.
lists.
Okay, Nick,
So,
I
yeah.
got that wrong. My bad. I thought for a second you guys said like 10,000. I was like, they only got like 10 sales out of 10,000. Like, how misleading are wish lists?
No, I think we only had, like, 100 or 200 or
Okay,
something like
okay.
that, but we launched the game, it completely flopped, and, like, for the next day or 2 days, it's just, like, devastation. It's, like,
You had
just
to
in
cancel
the
your
air.
reservations at the pizza parlor.
Yeah. Pretty much. Well, we didn't even, like, have a launch party or anything, like, we kinda just, like,
Went next.
Shove happened and then passed, and we were like,
Yeah.
"We gotta keep moving or, like, something's gotta change."
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I just felt so stressed because I was like, we just spent 8 months, and, like, the savings that I had, like, had were, like, slowly draining. I only have, like, 4 months of savings left. That game took 8 months, and I'm like, "Oh, we don't really have any time to make another one like that."
Yeah. And Mason, were you making money you kind of mentioned this. Were you making money from like TikTok at this time? Were you like okay with your finances? Like, cause Andrew's like kind of saving up from Costco and then like seeing how long it can last and stuff, which I think is a very relatable thing with game devs. Is like, all right, I'm
Yeah.
going to like save up this little stack of cash or whatever, and then to see how long it can last before I can make my game. What was your situation?
Yeah, I was
balling.
I made like a little bit. Yeah, I was full of it. No. I made a little bit from TikTok, and that definitely helped out, but most of it was just, being cautious with my finances and, not spending too much money.
Was it similar to Andrew's situation? Like where it's like kind of like how long can this last?
I wouldn't say like too similar. It was more so of like college like grants
Yeah.
because of like my like living situation.
Mm.
And I got fortunate that way.
You also didn't have a vehicle at that time, so, like, you
I didn't have a
weren't
vehicle. I didn't
necessarily
have like anything.
Yeah.
Really.
bills.
I
You're
lived
off
with
the
my
grid.
grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like applied for like FAFSA, and I was like living off of college grants basically. That was my finances.
All I was asking for is just like, what's the stress level
Yeah,
of
I'm
everybody's
definitely
situation?
not as stressed as Andrew.
Yeah.
He was
But
chilling. He was
because
chilling.
he's,
He was helping me stay calm
Got that
'cause I was
FAFSA money.
stressed.
Got that-
He is my business partner. So like I'm still stressed because
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
he can't do it, then I know I'm
100%.
basically screwed as well.
Which, by the way,
Yeah.
this is also what is again impressing with you guys is like how much you already kind of understand that. Like me and Nick talk about that all the time too. Like Nick works like contract work right now, and I'm like, I don't want to really bolt down anything yet until he's ready to go and I'm ready to go, kind of stuff. And maybe we might end up in a situation like yours, like with Shove. Hopefully, it's not that dire or whatever. Like just because we're a little older and like hopefully like planned it out a
Yeah.
little bit better. But sorry, continue.
Yeah, so, like, when that happened, like, there was a day or two where we're just, like, completely devastated, and, like, I'm over here, like, running numbers through a calculator, like, how many days I got left kind of thing, And Mason's trying to like be like, we should make an update for Shove. We should like work on the game. And like I think we both realized we were trying to like kind of come up with an idea for an update. And we're like, I don't think an update's really gonna change the game. Me and Mason both just kind of had a realization of like, we rather quit right now and save the time we had, or we try one more game in like this very short time frame. We just decided to just completely wing it and like just go for the game. So there was a week or so that I was like watching my dad's house and I brought my computer and I was just like, no one's home. It's just me. I'm just going to sit down and just me and Mason are going to come up with a game and just code.
You guys just
And
staring
so,
out a window, just a double.
yeah, pretty much.
It's
Yeah.
what
It
am
was
I
like,
doing?
yeah, we launched Shove in November, so this was probably right around the beginning of December.
Mhm.
And this like holidays as well, and like all like the vacation time and all of that.
Families
We were getting-
around. Hey.
yeah, families around. We're gonna have school off pretty soon for winter break. Me and Mason just kept bouncing ideas around, and I think on our way to school one morning, I believe we came up with the idea for a deer. Mason's property has tons of deer all over it, and like there's always a joke like there's skinwalkers in the woods watching and stuff like that. Like
That are disguised
just
as
like,
deer.
yeah, disguised as deer,
Yeah.
whatever. We just kind of came up with that idea of like, what if you're a hunter hunting deer, but like the whole twist is they're not normal deer.
Yeah.
They're like freaky deer, like, on their legs running around, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so we love the idea so much that like, I think we got home that day and just like Mason made a logo and like I just started coding the game up as fast as I could.
I love how you jumped right to making a logo, by the way.
Exactly.
We gotta get the
That
You gotta
was
get
so
the North
funny.
Star.
Yeah. No, it's so true because like at least for Shove and O'Deer, like we just have an idea and we just start like designing the visual stuff because like
Yeah.
that helps us make the game.
Yeah.
I don't know, like most people say start with the game, then go to the visual, but like our workflow is so backwards. It's pretty funny. We had the like idea of the game like just in our minds, and now it's just taking 8 months of work that we crammed up and just spitting it all out like pretty quickly. And like I was like, I'm gonna spend 2 full days just learning as much about replication multiplayer as I can for Unreal Engine. I was like, I'm gonna start the game with multiplayer this time.
Yeah.
It's like no more like trying to figure it
Yeah.
out halfway through.
Yeah. No, we're
It
missing
really
nice
helps,
guy.
really helps. Yeah. But
And you
I
also
would say
need
it's
to
like-
avoid physics this time. So
yeah,
you're
no
like,
physics, no physics. Yeah. But like the main thing was just like when we were starting out, it was like just so much pressure was there to like perform well and like to like make a good game. And at the end of the day, like we didn't even end up changing the idea at all. Like we just kind of stuck with the one idea, which was just like crazy. It just felt like we struck gold pretty much with like the idea for the game, and it just worked like
Yeah.
the first time we played it. I forget how many days it was, but we had a playtest very quick and we had our friends play. It was fully based off of sound at that point. So like one person would be a hunter and they would come out of their cabin. And then there'd be a woods full of deer, and like the deer would get hungry and they would need to eat a mushroom after so many time. And you would have to listen for like the sound of them getting hungry or like eating or whatever. And it was a lot of fun to play.
So Mason, what did it feel like when because it sounds like Andrew, you got it working first, and then you probably hucked the file over to Mason. It's like, can you try this? What was that moment like for you, Mason, to get a file and be able to boot it up and see Andrew running around as a deer or a hunter? Or
Yeah, it was. I don't remember. Like I think it was like literally just like one of the random times we just got it on Steam, right? I just downloaded it and we started playing, and it was just like, wow, it's actually multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like, we have multiplayer working.
Yeah.
It was just finally. Because like coming from Shove, we kind of knew in the back of our heads before like launching it, it was like we have this fun game, like we love it, we're obsessed with it, but there's no multiplayer, and we have to do either like Steam Remote Play or like local.
Right.
We knew like, oh, like that sucks,
Yeah.
right? Because we were marketing like it's gonna be on all these platforms, it's gonna be multiplayer, and for our
Platforms
first
with an
game,
S.
little ambitious.
Yeah, there's a video on your channel, like kind of like the hype of the thing, and it's like this is gonna be basically the next Fortnite.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
We were definitely ambitious with like our goals, but like as development actually began, we're like, oh, wait a minute, that's not gonna happen.
Was that
Yeah.
in a way scope creep?
Yeah, I would say 100%
Yeah,
scope
yeah,
creep.
yeah.
Just like we're like, oh yeah, we'll release on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, whatever. It'll be easy.
We had no idea how hard that
Yeah,
was.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
clearly a challenge. But yeah, so after like the whole Shove thing, going into Oh Dear, like our main goal was like, we need this to be multiplayer. When we finally had that first lobby and that
Yeah.
first like together test, it was awesome.
It is such a good idea. It's unbelievable. like when I saw the short for it, I was just like, your pitch is just so easy and so like, what if you were the deer in a hunting PvP hunting game, like or whatever? You're the hunter or the huntee. I just think it's so interesting, like the simplicity of certain things. It's like just get the deer to move, like you were saying, the skinwalker thing, just get them to stand up on their legs. And then that's immediately hilarious. And so it's like simple idea. First thing that you do is hilarious. And then you have the stress and intensity of like kind of a scary game of like being hunted and also trying to like outsmart your friends. Like, I mean, the amount of laughs that just come from like, me being a deer on 2 feet, like running right behind my friend who's the hunter and he's still not hearing me kind of thing is just like, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
No, we found that out like when we were playtesting. We just found instantly like this was so much fun to like just do and play. Like such a random idea that just turned out to be a lot of fun. And within like the first few days of that like playtesting, we were trying to figure out like how the deer should jump because like we wanted to keep the controls between the hunter and the deer pretty similar. So like you're not feeling like you're playing completely different games. Mason came up with the idea because like the jump looked like they were just like lifting their legs up and hopping. And Mason was like, what if they farted every single time they jumped? Like as like a boost,
Like
like
a
a
lunge
booster kind
forward.
of thing.
Yeah.
It was so hilarious. Like, I don't know if we have that clip anymore, but we put it in the game in like 5 minutes and tried it, and we just were like dying the
Yeah.
entire
I went in
time.
Blender and like made this pose and showed Andrew. And
Yeah,
it was just
even
so
the
funny.
pose of it,
It
which
was
you
so
guys have in that podcast, like
Yeah.
you guys do show it, and it's just so funny. Like this, like weird, like since deer have like an extra joint or whatever, it looks so strange. It jumping
Like they were
out.
playing. The idea behind Oh Dear worked because of how simple it was to like explain to your friend or like anyone. When we were making it, we like kept coming up with ideas we could keep adding. We just felt like keeping it super simple and like easy to understand was almost a benefit of our game.
Mm-hmm.
Because like every time my family or like someone would ask me like, "Oh, what's the game you're working on?" I would pretty much just like in 2 sentences be like, "Oh yeah, you and your friends are deer, and another player plays as a hunter, and the hunter trying to find you and kill you." And like
Yeah.
that's all I would pretty much say,
Boom.
and like they'd understand it in like seconds, pretty much.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like,
Gotta add on to that. When we were like driving to school one day thinking of the idea, we just kept going and going, and it was gonna be like way different than it actually turned out.
Mhm.
But when Andrew did make that first play test, we were like, this is it. Like
Mhm.
we're basically like almost done with the whole game loop. We just have to like, iron out some things here and there.
So, Jack, you said something a second ago. The first way you saw it was on a short. I think I saw it on a short too.
Yeah.
And I know from previous conversations we've had, that was a pretty big part of your guys' success was getting it on TikTok first or just like any kind of shorts media network.
Yeah, it was really just anything. We started with just regular devlogs, just talking about the game, introducing it to our audience.
It was more 10%. It was more
Yeah.
10%.
10%. And we were like, this works. We were trying to like improve the devlog format and try to find what worked, especially from all the shove ones. And then after just some of that, we were like, you know what? We need to just start making some short form content. I think that would also boost, right? Like, you've seen like huge viral clips on like short form. People scroll daily.
Mhm.
So we were like, let's do some of that. And we started with just trends. I think we started with that because of like my
Trends, deer
history.
poop.
Yeah. But like my history with like Beat Saber, I would just find trends and make them Beat Saber themed. So with this game, there was like this one day and night like
oh, the TV
trend.
girl song.
The TV girl song. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was some trend.
I really know TV girl, like the artist TV girl.
Yeah,
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 I think so,
yeah,
yeah.
the artist. There was this song that like there's like this TikTok trend going on where like people would use their audio and like make a cool like video.
Mm.
So Mason made one. It
Yeah,
was-
so I yoinked that trend and made it Oh Dear themed. I basically started with that, and then Angie and I were just play testing, and we found out we had a few clips, so we were like, you know what, let's just throw one up. And oddly enough, we threw like a clip of me like hitting a shot on Andrew, like crazy reactions, whatever,
Mhm.
and it blew up out of like nowhere. We weren't expecting it. We weren't really trying to make it blow up. We were just trying to, talk about our game. We posted that one video of just us playing the game basically and having a crazy clip. Like people loved it. That definitely stuck out on our radar, and we tried other things, but they didn't really work. So we were like, all right, let's just do that again.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it kept working.
What did it pop off on first? TikTok?
So the first one actually was Instagram. As we got closer and closer to actually like releasing the game, we were like, you know what? Let's just start doing more and more. We just posted. We just kept doing it. We knew
Yeah.
this format worked once, so let's keep posting. I want to say like a week before we released the game, or like 2 weeks before, everything, all platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all the short form content just started just taking off. That was an insane experience for
Yeah.
sure.
We were trying to take away what we learned from Shove on like the video parts of it. I think something that really stuck out to us is like a lot of the people in our comment sections were like other game developers talking about like things that they would think would be good and stuff, and like other devs telling us about their stories. And
Hmm.
we were like, YouTube builds an audience based off of who you target towards, kind of thing. And we're like, instead of targeting game developers, why don't we target gamers and just post gaming clips? I think just like switching that little tiny thing of not making a video about development, but more so just playing a game turned out to
Hmm.
like be a huge success because the game was fun visually. So like people got very interested. The crazy thing was like we just kept posting like just shorts like that. Where like we would just pretty much hop in a game after adding a new feature, record us playing it, post it, and then it would just do well out of nowhere. Like it was a really weird like format, but it worked well.
Yeah, did it seem like every single one hit traction?
Yeah, it was like probably like 25 to 30% probably like we're going into like the hundreds of thousands and some in the
Oh, weirdly.
millions.
Okay, so like 25%, but you guys are posting a lot.
Yeah, we would like record just an hour, 2 hours of us playing games, and I would just clip it up and just start posting them. Like I think every other day,
Yeah.
or something like that every weekend.
Because short form is something that me and Nick are very much still like learning, and I
Yeah.
hate sounding like an old guy and stuff like that. But it is just like something where it's like if I made 5 YouTube videos in a row and they all bombed, I'd be like, "Hey, this isn't working. See ya," or whatever. But like
Yeah.
Yeah.
short form, you can kind of let that happen because it's like it should be, with short stuff, it should be fairly like low maintenance to kind of like throw out
Yeah.
there.
We
Mhm.
went from like having like a couple hundred views, like 200, 300 views, to like one of our shorts getting like 1,000, 2,000. That's a huge jump for us for like short form content. And we're like, we should probably try it again. And like, I think it was the TV girl one that went on Instagram. It just completely blew up because I think like the scene was like, it showed our gameplay pretty well. Like it showed the moon go down and it showed the deer stand up and run towards the hunter. And like a lot of people got jump scared by it, which is pretty funny.
That's great.
But, we realized pretty quickly, like, it worked out well, so
Also just seeing like like your guys' color scheme too. It's very simple, but it's also very like simple and playful and like vibrant. Like the colors are, I'm like looking at one of your guys' screenshots and it's like bright red mushroom, green leaves, blue river, like brown deer.
well, what's funny is, Mason is the one who does all of the colors in our games because I'm not completely colorblind, but I mix up colors all the time. I'm fairly colorblind.
Yeah.
We get to, like, the color hues, and I just full blue, full red, full green, like, that's the best way for me to see
Oh
them.
my
Just,
bro.
I only can see
There's no way it was
primaries.
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta get the full hue color to see it properly. So
That's
I think
great.
that's kind of like why our early, like even Shove was pretty colorful for like some of the stuff. I think Mason toned it all down a little bit because I had it like super peaked. Even with Odeer, like all of the colors pop a lot. Easier to see that way too. So
Did you guys jump straight into a 1.0 release or was it technically early alpha or?
we had a content creator playtest like the week before with like probably I'd say 100 people, if not a little bit more than that.
How did you get in contact with these content creators and stuff?
Yeah, let me tell you this story.
Yeah.
Oh. All
Buckle
right,
in.
So this is
They reached out to me. I blew them off.
Yeah. So I'll break it down in like 3 weeks, right? So the first week is when I guess all of our social media started blowing up, especially TikTok. TikTok, I think the biggest
Mhm.
in terms of views and traction and comments. We realized this and we were really getting really close to like finishing the game. Let's on the top of our comment section just say, hey, if you're a content creator, reach out to us, join our Discord and create a ticket and we can like add you to this playtest next week. So we put that out and all these videos are getting like millions of views. So we're getting a ton of people like piling into our Discord and a ton of tickets opening.
Interesting.
Do not do it like that. I'm going to just say that right now. Do not host a playtest through your Discord.
Yeah.
I have never seen so many weird Discord messages pop up. We had like reports of spamming in our server, so like people couldn't join. The whole ticket system with an automated bot.
Discord thought we were getting botted, so they shut down the server for like people joining for a little bit.
It
and we had to,
was
like
it was very messy, and I remember myself during that entire week just responding to every single comment on TikTok, Instagram, like, oh, it's gonna be $5.99 on release. Oh, it's gonna be this. It's gonna be that. And I just got to the point where like there's too many comments. I just need to step away. Like,
Yeah.
let me just focus on this playtest. The playtest comes around. That whole week was so stressful for me because I had to organize all of these keys and give it out to creators. We shot like an email out to a few creators that we really wanted to play. They surprisingly responded, which was kind of cool. Yeah, we just had them join the Discord. We made them in like groups of 5. We're like, hey, yeah, you need 5 people to like get keys or like, a decent amount.
Yeah.
And we want you to like live stream it or record it, hopefully, just so we can see, the errors and the bugs and stuff like that.
Yeah, be able to actually like get feedback from the playtest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a content creator play test, so we wanted content creators.
The most people that had played that game up to that point was probably like no more than 8 people.
Yeah.
Like maybe
Yeah.
8. So like we didn't have any playtesting done, and we were like, people were really eager for the game to launch. And we don't know more than like 15 people that would want to even play
Yeah.
the game that have computers. So we're like, I was like, I need feedback now, because like I'm seeing these view counters go up and up, and our wish lists hitting like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. I'm like,
Yeah.
if we launch the game is just gonna blow up.
Timeline wise, like from Shove, where are you guys there? Like, is that like 2-3 months in?
That's 3 months later. We made the whole like gameplay loop and like all of the videos and stuff 3 months after like the launch of Shove. At that point, we just need to like get some play testing in to figure out what is gonna
Yeah.
break when we like launch the game kind of thing. So
We were basically, in contact with all these. We're still in school, by the way. So we're still in school while all this is happening. And then luckily, I think it was like spring break. That was when we did the content creator playtest. So we just went full locked in and fixed any bugs. We reached out to like more people and all of that. And I think I was working on a trailer. We were just doing all of that, basically polishing the game as much as we can, because the next week we were like, we have a release date. We announced a release date, I think a while back.
the playtest ended and everyone gave really good feedback. And like I was watching people streaming the game, fixing bugs in real time pretty much.
Yeah.
And we got to the launch of the game, and I think there was like was it a week before the launch, Mason, after that playtest?
It
Because I
might have
thought we had
been.
time to like fix everything. Like,
Yeah,
for 1 week.
maybe.
I think Mason posted more content because like he had some saved up, and like everything was like reaching a peak is like what it felt like. The views were going like literally parabola up to like the launch
It's like a
date.
stock. It's just
Yeah,
like, come on, we
exactly.
gotta like hold on to this stock, man.
I don't remember the number of wish lists we're at, but like it was an insane number. I remember like the morning we were launching the game, our Discord, like we added everyone in our Discord. It's like the game's coming out in like 10 minutes. And like the Discord was like pretty slow at that point, and then instantly it was like just scrolling. It was like such a fun moment to
Yeah.
like share with our community. We launched the game, and like Steam database takes like a second to like refresh the page, and I'm on there just refreshing every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And I just see the jump instantly, 1,300 players were in game.
Mhm.
And it was just like insane.
From 8 to
Insane.
1,000.
Yeah, it was crazy. And like me and Mason both were just in complete shock. Like
Shock, yeah.
the last 3 weeks, like when the first video like completely exploded, we went from like having maybe 100 wish lists on our first game to like millions and millions and millions of views on us right now. And it was like the weirdest thing. We didn't want to like put ourselves in a position where like it was like a negative thing or anything like that. Like we didn't try to like look at the numbers too much.
Mhm.
So like we just kept working on the game. And then like when we launched it, it was like finally like a moment of closure is what it felt like.
Yeah.
People instantly in the Discord server was like talking about like how fun the game was and how great it is and all this stuff. It was such a like rewarding moment.
Did you guys have that kind of like? I remember when we first released the first couple episodes of Playable Workshop. There's this emotional come down where it feels like you've been running a marathon. Your body feels it, even though
Yeah.
you've been sitting at a computer or whatever. But like just that build up and the release, and everything. I can only imagine what that must have felt like for you guys, seeing so many people jump into your game. Like, did you just have to step away and lay down?
It was wild because I remember loading up just like streams and watching people play. Basically, that's what we did all day, is like just watch other people play our game. And, if there's a real like scary bug, you would fix it. But for the most part, it was just pure shock and like refreshing and seeing how many people like purchased our game, bought it, and like how many people are like playing it. It was something that like you can't really describe. It's
Yeah.
just mind blowing. You put 3-4 months of just your heart into something, and then you're watching other people play it and like have a blast, and it's just like, wow, I made that. Like, I don't know, it is a really unique feeling.
I remember refreshing like the page sales and stuff. I refreshed, it was at 0 and it jumped and it showed $50,000. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like
We're not
we
going back
both
to
are living
Costco,
at home
baby.
right now, like with our families. And for me, like I was struggling with like paying bills and stuff like the whole time upcoming like to this game. Like my dad had to cover me for like a month because like I was behind on it.
Yeah.
Like seeing that jump was just insane, like completely insane.
How long does the success just like last for? And like, if we could say like, how much did the game make? Money did the game make? Like, it's just absurd.
I mean, I think by the end of that night, we launched the game and like we saw the first numbers like in that morning, and like instantly, like we're calling everybody like, "This is insane, this is crazy,"
Yeah.
and we're like, "We need to throw a party or like go get dinner or something at least to
Yeah.
like celebrate this moment."
Yeah.
We went to dinner with our families and like some of our friends and stuff. Had pizza, had a pizza party.
Yeah.
It was a lot of
Pizza
fun.
party galore.
And like, yeah, I mean, like we refreshed the numbers and said 100,000 that night, and we were like, "This is insane."
Yeah.
And like the following week was just more of that. I was working on bugs and stuff. Mason was doing like content filtering and stuff, and like helping anyone with questions and stuff.
And sorry, by the way, are you guys 20 at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah,
2-0,
20 at that point,
not 21 yet.
yeah, 20-0.
I
Yeah, it was
did- okay.
it was so like it was such a like feeling of shock. Like
Yeah.
it really was. Like we really at that point were unable to comprehend it. And the thing about Steam is like you don't get paid until a month later. That first 2 weeks we were just like in complete shock. And like up to that point in like development, like for Shove, I was working every single day, like 8 hours every day. And then Oh Dear, even more, like 10 hours I was pushing it. And like with school in the background too, we got a homework assignment. We're like, quick, done. Put it aside. Work on the game even more kind of thing. And like we went in person to school like after like our game and stuff. And we're like, I'm sitting in class next to Mason and I have a notepad open and I'm just writing down everything I want to code when I get home. Like I'm not even like listening. I'm not even listening to the
That's what I was
professor
gonna
at that
say.
point.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
It was just a weird experience, like going back to school, knowing that we have something that so many people are playing like actively, and we're
Yeah.
I
like,
know.
I want to go home and work on that.
Yeah.
Like,
Was it just weird walking around being like, I wonder if anybody here is playing the game and stuff like that?
One of our like get to know us questions, like in class, I
Mhm.
told them that like me and Mason started a game development business because like we're in a programming class, like
Yeah.
a lot of people there, like that kind of stuff. And when we launched our game, like there was like 1 or 2 people in the class knew of it and was like, "That's crazy."
Yeah.
A lot of people, like for us, like they just kind of like kept to their own space, you know. And like
Jealous.
the crazy thing was like, yeah, I doubt it, but yeah, maybe. The crazy thing was like I was with some friends and someone that I don't really talk to that much and don't like follow on any social media. I was telling them like the game that I had made, and they were like, "I literally saw that on my phone, like saw that like literally yesterday."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's crazy! Like this is in person. Like someone that I haven't talked to has seen the game."
Like you guys talked about kind of like celebrating. Are you also like the game's on fire at all, like with like bugs or anything like that?
The game actually, like, I was really shocked. It held up pretty strong, like, when the launch happened. There was only, like, some weird, like, overlay bugs where, like, the text would be on top of, like,
Sure.
plants and stuff and, like, some weird small detail things, but, like, everything held up really well. We instantly, like, started brainstorming ideas for an update on the game because we're like, we should keep the workflow coming and, like, keep going, but it was around that point where, like, I realized I had severe burnout from like working for almost a year straight, like every single day, hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Before the launch, even like I didn't really mention it, but before the launch, like I was struggling to like finish the game. It's such a weird feeling. It's like when you're sitting in front of like the computer and like you're trying to find something to watch or something.
Yeah.
Or, like, you know, and you just can't find anything because nothing sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that
Yeah.
with coding.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
how it feels. I hit that phase and I was like, we're going to make this update and we should just take a little break. Like just a few days, a few weeks, like just whatever. Like we just need to take a pause. Mason's in full game mode. Like he's ready to like make Oh Dear the next level.
Yeah.
The complete next level.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, Andrew, time to get back to work. Let's get this thing going. And I just like, I kept dragging my feet pretty much on it. But
Yeah.
it's important to state that like it wasn't a full release. It like on Steam it had early access. So
You wanted it to get to the 1.0.
yeah.
yeah, like my mindset was like we gotta just finish the game and then we could just be done.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
focus on especially like the business side now that we have a ton of money.
Yeah.
That's
We're like we gotta
right,
lock
yeah.
in. How do we even like hold on to this?
Can you guys say, just for mainly the clickbait title, of like how much money did the game make?
It made over $3 million as of today.
as of today, 3
Yeah.
million.
And
Yeah,
like
it's
pretty
crazy.
early on, it hit $1 million pretty quick.
It made $1 million on the 30th day of launch.
30th?
Like right on
Yeah,
the 30th.
I think
day
right around the
hit.
30th
It's
day.
unbelievable.
Our first paycheck into our bank account was $800,000 or something like that.
And, you know, coming from your extensive career at Costco, is that just like, like,
It just felt like complete shock
Yeah.
is what it was. Because like Costco, like I was working like 30, 35, 39 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I was making like a decent amount. Like it was enough for me to like do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And like I wasn't paying for like rental or like, any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And that
it
does
wasn't a
kind of
bad.
change things. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
you would, your
100%.
tune might change
Yeah.
once you're like trying to make a
Yeah.
whole,
If I was out of the house, I would need to be
with
working a lot
Costco
more than
living.
that.
Like, and
Yeah.
that's what a lot of us experience when we like, get out on our own for the first time. It's like, oh, I need to make way more money.
We were fortunate enough to like barely miss that transition period of like living on our own. Cause like I think if we were living on our own, we wouldn't have had the necessary time to like fully commit into what we were doing.
Mhm.
The learning phase is the longest and the hardest by far.
Yeah.
So like the fact that we were able to like focus solely on the learning part and like we even were learning in school a little bit too.
Yeah.
It really pushed us into like getting the game done.
What I love about y'all's story is the fact that like you guys are still in college age.
Which, by the way, did you finish college or you're like,
Yeah.
I was like, we should drop out and focus on the game.
Yeah.
But Mason,
like,
like
"No,
all of
bro."
our family were like, you guys are so close, just do it and finish
Yeah.
it. And I'm like, okay, that
That's
makes
We
like,
put so much
uh,
effort in. It was like, just let's get it done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to waste the previous years.
Yeah, Mason held me accountable on the college stuff, which is really good. It was so crazy. Like, I was just sitting in the classes learning code, and I'm like, my game is right here on this person's YouTube video, and I'm like, I need to make this better
Yeah.
like, right now. And yeah, it was
any
crazy,
like
but
huge content creators that like you guys are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're playing my game.
yeah, we had Smitty play it and like the Vanos crew and like a bunch of other pretty big people that we used to watch all the time, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
every single day, pretty much.
Is that just like
And it was
surreal every
crazy.
single time?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
that was one of those moments where I'm like, I made this game and they're playing like
Yeah.
I put that mushroom there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I modeled that deer.
It's-
Like it was
it's
it's
so
really
cool.
weird.
Honestly, even today, like when I see people playing the game, it doesn't feel like my game, if that makes sense.
Kind
I
of.
don't know. It feels different for some reason, and I don't know why. But like when I am in the engine, it feels like my game. But then like seeing someone else play it, it just feels like I'm watching a YouTuber play a game. It almost just feels like you're an esports pro of the game, and like you're just watching someone with a completely different play style playing it like in a
Yeah,
different way.
yeah.
Because I designed the AI movement, I can see like the slightest difference in like how the AI move and how the player
Yeah,
move. Where,
yeah.
like so like when I go in the game, I can just look at a deer for like 1 second and see like that's a player. Because like when the game came out, we played it and we were like just completely massacring people. And we're like, we probably shouldn't ruin this like first learning phase for like people. We waited a couple hours and then we hopped
Yeah,
on
you're
and
like,
played,
hold, Ben, hold.
Yeah.
Go.
it's so funny. We heard a similar thing from Pluto.
It
with
was
his, like,
Pluto said that. Pluto said that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Okay.
stick
my bad,
fighting
my bad.
game, telling his playtesters, "Hey, go easy on everyone,
Yeah.
otherwise they're gonna go away."
Yeah, because his game is if you could match as like a Stickman Super Smash Bros kind of game.
we worked on the update for the game and like we made it so you can like have custom settings and stuff too. Like you can change the fart strength to like 1,000% and stuff like that. And like there's so many random things that just made the game like that much better. Because like
We're goofy.
the YouTubers will play it for like a little bit and then they'll get a little bored and then they'll go back to the lobby and change one setting and like now they're like completely like laughing their asses
Yeah.
off again. It's so funny.
It's so funny, dude. Just because of the success, and I think it's also just so interesting how young you guys are. Like, that's so much money. Just for a little financial advice for people that might run into this as game devs, like, what happened and what did you do?
That is probably the most important thing that doesn't get talked about for indie teams is like, what do you do after your game does well? The first thing that me and Mason realized is like, we're about to make a big paycheck in 30 days. We don't really know how that part of it works.
Yeah.
So we talked with a bunch of people and like we found a CPA and like some other tax advisors that can like give us answers to all of that stuff. And we hired some people under our team to like help us manage those finances.
And when you say hire, like not like
for a
not like
company.
employees, more of like
Yeah, just more so like
Yeah.
just in our like portfolio of like teams
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
help us with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't make those decisions like after that kind of stuff. You have people that know what they're doing make those decisions.
Yeah.
Because like if we would have made that money, we wouldn't have known how to pay the taxes on that or like how to like spend our money like in the right way
Yeah.
kind of thing to like help it make the most sense for us. So when we finally got in like contact with those people, they like made us realize like you guys should put your money back into the business and like buy new equipment and stuff because you can write all of it off. So like we got new PCs, new desks, all that stuff, cameras.
Camera.
So
Dude,
yeah.
by the way, Nick,
That's
like
it.
in
No.
the podcast, they show like you guys have like a video of like all the gear on your desk,
The
like, and
pool
I'm like,
table.
this is
Oh,
like
yeah.
a 15-year-old gamer's dream. Like this
It
would be
was
my
camo
dream as
is
a
what
kid.
it
Like
felt
I'm just
like.
seeing like
Yeah.
It was so crazy. This is like our dream PCs. Like we have this.
Yeah.
We were like, we got to let like some of our friends experience this with us. So we had like a few of our buddies come over and like unbox everything.
Yeah. And of course, I think it was Andrew's PC that had like a fan
Yep.
problem or something like that. I'm like, dude, that would be me 100% of the time.
No,
I'd be like, great.
I just turned it on and like I just heard a spark and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
I'm like, what was that? And like it was the CPU just actually like blowing itself up because we got got like
thermal paste. I used frozen paste. Just like,
I thought you were supposed to put super glue.
Yeah.
Keep it shut. No,
it's Gorilla Glue.
Yeah, no, I got like the new Intel chip and like they're very hot. They run very hot.
Yeah.
And when the fans don't kick in, it like instantly just dies.
Yeah.
We took apart the whole PC trying to find the issue and it took a few months, but my PC just started randomly blue screening, just randomly out of nowhere. And like I would turn it on to enter the pin, instant blue screen again. And I'm like, oh no. I take off a heatsink and there's scorch marks on the heat, like on the CPU heat.
Just melting into the motherboard.
Yeah, I'm like, time to get a different CPU. I'm like, something's wrong.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Dude, by the way, like that's happened to me like last year. Like even the blue screen part.
I'm not
of
even
it's just
kidding.
like,
The breaker in the room I was in was flipping because of like the power draw.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
There was
an issue with it. So
you
it
were
was, like,
using the
drawing way
power
too
of the
much.
house in your computer.
Yeah.
It was literally a
The
powerhouse.
grid off
PC
line went
was-
off, like all the neighbors' lights were gone.
Yeah.
No, but there was an issue. So I figured it out and got all of it fixed, which was really nice. So
Yeah, that's just what I wanted to talk about, the finances real quick, just because I always think that's so interesting, especially with like, like new money and all that kind of stuff is like Steam takes a cut, like your taxes take a cut, like it probably looks like a ton of money on the surface, and it is still, but
100%.
it's like, make sure you don't just go spend it all and all that kind of stuff.
Well, on top of that, you guys would actually be subjected to Unreal's royalty fees too, right?
Yeah.
Which is crazy because you
Unreal has,
pass like it's like $1
5%.
million mark or something you have to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had to read that up and catch up, like make sure we didn't miss anything.
Yeah, like every quarter you have to like fill out the report thing, and then like it sucks because you're like, here's the check you guys get.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for your tool.
Yeah.
But I thought I would never have to pay because it's like,
I know,
what are
yeah,
the
we did
chances
not
I make
have
$1
that.
million off this?
Yeah, it's important if you're using Unreal. Like you got to make sure you like do the release form. If you don't do the release form, you can get charged the 5% even before $1 million. So like that's something that they try to like make more obvious now.
Interesting.
But I know you can publish to Epic Games as well. And like that's more of like a recent thing. But like most of their documentation for like the royalty reporting was very vague when it like was first like a thing. We didn't even like really think about it too much until like last minute I remembered. I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta fill that form out before we release the game, and like all this stuff it was crazy.
Okay, business forms suck. Like,
Scary.
I feel like
That's
they're
the
so
worst
scary.
part.
it's
Yeah,
like,
you're like,
I didn't do this
you
one
signed
thing,
one
I'm
thing.
screwed.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now, sorry, Nick, you can go ahead and ask your question about what you're working on now.
Yeah, no, I just want to hear about what you guys are working on now. You have a community that's now gathered around your game. You have a successful game, and they're probably chomping at the bit, I would imagine, to see like, what are you guys cooking next? Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
and you guys do a really good job in your community, at least your Discord, because I've poked around there and seen how people interact and everything, and there's a lot of excitement, and you've done a great job of like keeping that level of authenticity and communication.
It's like a Modern Warfare 2 chat zone. No, it's just like horrible. Like,
Where's the update? Yeah.
Way more slurs than you'd expect in the ODR community. No.
We launched the game and like we kind of ghosted our community for a little bit because like I was in that burnout phase of like just being completely toast from like development. But we were like, it's super close to the end of the like year at that point. Huge portion after we launched the game and like released the full thing. We ended up moving out of our parents' houses and getting a rental. Me and Mason moved in together to like actually get on the land and like be able to work faster and better and stuff like that, record all the time. Bunch of stuff happened with Mason with his health that ended up needing addressed.
Yeah. I mean, in the moment, it was like unexpected. Like I had, I was just kind of riding the wave. But I mean, now looking back, like I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah. I like that you guys talked about that too. I was like, that's like just like the reality of life or whatever. And
But
you were
it
vague about it
was-
too. We
yeah.
don't need to go into a detail here. Just like start with like a sore throat and then you got checked out and spent a week in a hospital kind of thing. It was like crazy.
Learned about the whole healthcare system. That was wild.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was also very interesting that I was like, you guys had just moved like 2 hours away from your home.
Yeah. So we moved 2 hours away,
Yeah.
and then we like are basically still dealing with all the business stuff,
Yeah.
trying to get all that in order.
Yeah.
trying to figure out what we want to do next. Like, do we want to make an update for
Yeah.
Oh Dear? Will that lead us anywhere?
Andrew's like, oh,
Like-
I don't want to work. And I'm getting
Andrew's lazy. Like,
Andrew's
lock
like,
in,
what the
bro.
hell, man?
Get on the coding.
But it's just a mix of like, what do we do now and how do we keep this success and what is the next course of action? Towards the end of the year, we go and like celebrate like a few trips and stuff.
Oh, which I thought was so funny too. Like, again, you guys like had the pizza party and you're like, we should go on a trip. I'm like, oh, do they go to like Turks and Caicos or like something like, and you guys like went to Disney World.
Disney World.
I was like,
So I've never been.
tell me you're
Andrew's
not
been a few
20.
times. But
No, we're like, we should just take a fun little like Disney World trip because Mason's never been. I've been one time.
Yeah. But yeah, so we did that towards the end of the year. And then we had huge plans for 2025, like in January. We were like, time to lock in. It's a new year. Let's grow our like platform. We started off with like a project called Platform Wars.
Yeah.
But then, as you mentioned, I got sick. And then that basically put everything on hold. I had to live like back in like the hometown area because I had to be close. Like I was in the hospital for a week.
Yeah.
I had to be around like just my parents and stuff. So now Andrew and I are separated. All the plans are on hold. Like health is my number one like
Yeah.
priority.
Yeah.
Right. We have enough money to like hold off. That's okay. Like, right.
We're running out of
comfortable.
money. Just like, so much.
We're definitely not. But it was just like, okay, I don't know how long my health is going to be a problem or in effect. So that's just like when we try to figure out what we're going to do. I think we had some ideas of like, oh, let's just do a huge update on Oh Dear and like make it cross-platform with Epic Games and basically remake the entire game so it can be on both platforms. And that would not require YouTube videos. We can do all that back end. But then it was just like, maybe we don't really want to do that. That won't really provide too much forward momentum for us. I don't know. That was kind of the conclusion we came to. We decide to just try to brainstorm new ideas. And
As of that point, it's been almost a year since like the first pre-alpha launch of Oh Dear.
Mhm.
So like the game has already kind of lived its life a little bit. It's not been dead, but like it's lived a little bit. The community has like played it and had fun. Like they're kind of already like on to other games and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
What's like the next best move? Like we could invest the time back into Oh Dear and like make it a better Oh Dear, or we could probably move to another game and like have our community know us as like the team that makes the smaller like fun cycle games
Yeah.
and like has a lot of them under our portfolio. I knew how I coded Oh Dear. By the time I finished Oh Dear, I looked at the beginning and I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? Because like I was learning the multiplayer the whole way through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I finished and I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like, how
Yeah.
is it running?
Yeah.
It's running off of like gum and like some other stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're like, only God and my past self know any of this
exactly.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let's once again get into what are you guys working on now? And you don't have to reveal too much. Like you can keep things.
No, yeah,
okay,
yeah. We'll keep it a little
Yeah.
under the table until
Yeah.
we get our first video out. But the main thing is like when Mason left the rental and like I was back at home, we were trying to figure out what to do. And we decided that instead of making an update for Oh Dear, we're gonna try to move on to a new project. We've tried 2 projects already that didn't go anywhere. I can say one of them. One of them was a game called DAM, DAM.
Nice.
And the whole point was you and your buddies are construction workers working at a dam.
Yeah.
And a group of beavers are trying to tear that down the whole time. And like, that was the idea. It didn't end up working out. And like we had like a crafting system, didn't end up going with it.
You guys didn't call the game Oh Damn?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Oh,
not Odam.
yeah, yeah.
We ended up not doing it because like just like some small things just kind of fell through. We had another project, but that one didn't work out either. And so now we've found one that we like a lot more and that we've kind of brainstormed a lot. And you guys know it, and hopefully our viewers will know very soon. But
It's very cool. We've been very.
It's called
Redacted.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
called- We're just still like in the prototyping phase of like trying to find like our next project and like sticking with it and going through with it. So
We have a weekly meeting where there's a bunch of indie game devs that meet together, and Andrew and Mason are the guys that always have the furthest prototype stuff done. Like they're cruising, and it's very inspiring to see. And also makes me feel like a failure. But it's just funny. Like they'll just come in, they're like, "Hey, we have 10 new enemies with unique move sets or whatever," and
it's all crazy polished
Yeah.
and perfect and everything's like, all right.
yeah,
yeah, so like right now, like our philosophy kind of like with our studio is like we want to make smaller titles. Like we're not trying to compete with like Terraria or Minecraft or stuff like that. We want to kind of stay in like our indie realm and like just make smaller games that are like fun for like a while with your friends. You can play and then like maybe hop onto a new game. For me and Mason, that's how we've kind of grown up is like we play a game for a while and then we find another one and play a game. I feel like that's the best way, at least for us. Like we just kind of hop between new ones. So
and it's funny to think of like 10 years if you guys would look back and like see if you guys do end up making a bunch of games, it'll be kind of cool to be like, oh, that was our blank
Yeah.
phase and this phase and this phase. And I'm sure each
Yeah.
one will like add the learning from the last one into the last game. And like over time,
Yeah.
will just become more and more polished and maybe even like grow out the team a little bit. And who knows?
Well, that's kind of why we were wanting to make the smaller titles is because, like, it'll give us a completely new view on, like, a game. Like, if you just, at least for me and Mason, like, if we worked on, like, Oh Dear for, like, the next 3 years, it doesn't feel like we're really, like, innovating anymore. It just feels more like refinement. We're still so, like, young and new to this. We want to, like, try to learn more new things that are, like, new opportunities and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say like our view going into our next project that we're working on is definitely like we don't want to compare the success of Oh Dear to it. Like
Yeah.
that's not gonna
Yeah.
be good for anything,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Really, what it comes down to is if Andrew and I play the game and we have fun, then we know someone else out there will at least enjoy that same fun.
Yeah.
And then once we find that fun, we just hammer it out and like add on to it and make it even more fun. Or especially right now, we've been working on the game, I want to say for like 3 months, maybe around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally right after we posted our 3-hour podcast.
So basically, you guys are going to have a creator playtest tomorrow. No.
So we've been, yeah, basically. So we've been working on it basically nonstop, trying to iron out the core concept and just find the fun. I feel like we're very close to doing that. And once Andrew and I do get that, like, oh my gosh, that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's when, we can start talking about it and sharing it, going to our community, expanding the idea,
Yeah.
having a bunch of people try it out and really capitalizing on like that fun.
And like that's more streamlined now because you guys ended up moving again, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
so
we
we
left the
moved-
rental and came back to, like, our home area.
Yeah.
To be here.
and
so.
and you guys living together now.
Yeah.
It's like even that I'm like, you guys are saving money on rents or whatever. Not that it like it's a minuscule compared to what you've made or whatever, but it's still like that's smart too. Yeah, I think that's awesome. And I think that from what we've got to see behind the scenes, I'm like, the progress we're seeing in your game is very evident. It's like
Yes.
Andrew and Mason are definitely cruising.
Another thing for like just our brand and something that Andrew and I really like doing, I think you kind of mentioned it. Like for new projects, we don't want to get stuck on something that we've done before or like old projects. We want to just keep learning, like expanding our skill set, trying out different things and not get stuck in like Oh Dear 6.
Exactly. Dude, which I'm so glad you guys aren't doing. Not that I wouldn't want to know Deer 2 or anything like that, but it's like, yeah, think that. Like, because me and my girlfriend actually have talked about creativity on TikTok and stuff and seeing like a lot of like, oh, that person did this, I'll do exactly the same thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do it, like twist it up.
Or-
like, and
Yeah.
Hollywood just remaking literally everything.
yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Hollywood
Yeah.
does
To the
it too.
point where it's like, I've already seen this movie.
Yeah.
You did it 2 years ago.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, I really do look at you guys like a mini Nintendo, like with how you've talked about stuff of like just making like fun games, like aren't like the biggest things in the world. And
Make them fun.
Yeah.
Make them
Yeah.
colorful.
I mean,
like,
as you guys know, like we've already iterated on our game so many times, like different
Yeah.
ideas. We're in the prototyping phase still, like just trying to find a foothold. But like when we do find a foothold on like what we want, we just full force it.
Yeah.
Right now, we're still like iterating, finding like the best version of what it could be, and then once we do, we'll go through with
yeah.
it. So
Yeah, I'm excited to see the end product. What advice do you have for indie game devs or whatever if you have like one thing that you wanted to share?
I would say start small. I mean, you hear it all the time. Actually commit to an idea that you truly believe in. It will be fun because once you get that process from the very beginning to the very end and launching it, you will understand so much more than like you think you already do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you just got to market the game, you got to publish it. But yeah, you have to do that. Like you think that's easier. You just, you think about it, but actually doing it and actually putting in the effort to market your game as hard as you can, like to reaching out to content creators or organizing a play test, anything like that, that will just teach you how to actually do it. Then when you make your second game, you can come back even stronger and capitalize on your mistakes and just learn and, continue that process.
I would say for a small piece of advice as well, if you're working on a new project as like a first-time game dev, I think it's very important to like not limit yourself to an idea right when you start. I think it's important to just try to learn a bunch of small things, exactly like how they're teaching you guys in Playable Workshop, like just going through small things at a time and not worrying about the huge grand picture all at once is the best way to start development.
Yeah.
That's what I did to like help me get through it. Like with Shove, I didn't know what Shove was until I was halfway through development. So it's really good to start on the smaller steps and like focus on that with all your ability.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh, once I get to here, then I'll add the rocket launcher, then I'll add the dragon, then the castle, all of that. Like it will start stacking. It's important to start with smaller steps.
Yeah, exactly. Great advice. I'm glad that we asked that.
Yeah.
One more question before you guys go. We like to keep it light here. Who did you guys vote for? No, I'm kidding.
And we're done.
And go.
Gotta go.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, and your guys' story is like so inspiring. So yeah, it's so
Yeah,
fun to.
thank you guys
fun
for
to
thanks for
inviting
having
us.
us.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
you guys are both
Totally.
really great people. So it's
Yeah,
it's
you guys
awesome to
too.
talk to
Oh,
fellow
shucks.
devs.
Yeah, I've literally
Yeah.
I've said like in the background, like off mic, I'm like these kids just know what they're doing.
Well, we got 2 people who can help us every time we have questions.
Mainly Nick.
There you go.
Mainly me, so, yeah.
Let's be honest.